9 fruits that can trigger a stroke. After 60, a brain doctor's urgent warning. Have you ever gone to bed feeling completely fine and woken up unable to move your arm, speak clearly, or even stand on your own? It happens every day, not because of smoking, not because of fast food, but because of something sitting right in your fruit bowl. That's right. Some of the most beloved, innocent-looking fruits, the ones we're told are good for our heart, can quietly raise your risk of a stroke after 60. No warning, no pain, just one quiet shift in your body's chemistry, and suddenly your life changes. As a brain doctor, I've seen it happen more times than I care to remember, but you don't have to be next. If you're over 60 and still believe in healing, subscribe now. This might change your life. And let's walk through this truth, one fruit at a time. In 2022, a study published in the Journal of Neurology and Aging revealed a disturbing trend. Over 30% of strokes in adults over 60 were linked to unexpected food interactions, not with junk food, but with seemingly healthy choices like fruit. Why? Because as we age, our metabolism slows, our blood vessels become fragile, and the way we process sugars, acids, and natural compounds changes dramatically. What once nourished you at 30 can quietly harm you at 65. This isn't fear, it's fact, and too few seniors are being warned. That's why today we're counting down 9 fruits that could be quietly triggering strokes in your sleep. And it all begins with number 9. Oondefamt, ortisestau, tononine. Pineapple acidic sweetness that hurts. While you sleep, it's bright, it's juicy, it tastes like a tropical vacation. And yet, pineapple may be quietly hurting your brain, especially while you sleep. Many seniors love pineapple as a light natural dessert. But here's what most don't realize. Pineapple is one of the most acidic fruits in the American diet, and when combined with its high sugar content, it creates a dangerous combo for aging brains. Your body slows down. At night, digestion slows, circulation slows, even brain oxygen drops slightly. Now, imagine tossing in pineapple after dinner. The acid irritates your esophagus. The sugar spikes your blood. For some, this leads to silent reflux. No heartburn, no warning. Just tiny droplets of acid vapor entering your airway while you sleep. Over time, this affects breathing quality oxygen to the brain and increases the risk of early morning strokes, the kind that hit hardest when you're most vulnerable. One of my patients, a 72-year-old gardener named Linda, thought she was doing the right thing. Fresh pineapple after dinner, no sweets, no soda. But after months of healthy snacking, she began waking up dizzy, foggy, and eventually collapsed while walking to the bathroom. The scans showed a mild but serious stroke. The cause blood vessel constriction overnight, likely triggered by a perfect storm of acid sugar and dehydration. What to do instead? Eat pineapple in small amounts always earlier in the day. Never eat it alone, pair with protein or healthy fat to slow absorption. Avoid canned versions packed in syrup. And never eat pineapple before bed. The fruit itself isn't evil, but timing is everything. And that brings us to fruit number 8-1, that looks harmless but strikes hard. 8. Grapes, the sugar bomb in disguise. They're tiny, sweet, easy to pop in your mouth while watching TV or reading the paper. Grapes feel harmless, even wholesome. But for aging blood vessels, they can be a silent trigger for something far more dangerous. Here's why grapes are packed with natural sugars, mainly glucose and fructose. And while natural sounds safe, your body doesn't know the difference once it hits your bloodstream, especially if you're over 60. As we age, our insulin response slows down. That means your body takes longer to manage sugar spikes, and the sugar stays in your blood longer. Now, imagine eating a bowl of grapes with nothing else, no protein, no fiber. Your blood sugar surges, your arteries inflame, and your blood becomes thicker, more likely to form clots. You won't feel a thing, not until one of those clots finds its way to your brain. Let me tell you about Jeanette, 80 years old, a retired school teacher from Missouri. She snacked on red grapes every morning, organic, fresh, no processed food. She felt healthy, until she started waking up with headaches and blurry vision. One morning, she slurred her words. Stroke. Tests showed chronic vascular inflammation and blood sugar irregularities, all while she thought she was doing everything right. What to do instead? Limit grapes to half a cup, and only eat them with a meal, not as a standalone snack. Choose dark purple or red grapes, they have more antioxidants. Avoid eating grapes at night, your metabolism is slower and the sugar spike is more dangerous. Even healthy fruits, when misunderstood, can create the perfect storm. And the next one on our list is the tropical sunshine that could be silently tightening your arteries. Number 7. Mango. Sweet but not safe. Few fruits feel as luxurious as a ripe mango. Golden soft, dripping with tropical sweetness, it's often praised for its vitamins and antioxidants. But for seniors, mango carries a hidden danger that's rarely discussed until it's too late. Here's the truth. Mango is a sugar bomb, especially for older adults whose metabolism has slowed and whose blood vessels are more fragile. Just 1 cup of mango contains nearly 45 grams of natural sugar, more than a can of soda. But the danger isn't just the sugar spike, it's what follows. High sugar levels trigger inflammation. Inflammation triggers artery tightening. And in your brain, where blood vessels are already narrow and delicate, this chain reaction can lead to tiny cracks in vessel walls. The body then tries to repair these cracks by forming clots. Now, if you're also taking heart or blood pressure medications like beta blockers or anticoagulants, this combo becomes even more risky. That sweet mango snack could be quietly destabilizing your entire circulatory system. Take William 76, a retired vet from Arizona. He switched from cookies to dried mango slices in the afternoon, thinking it was a healthy upgrade. He was also on meds for high blood pressure and atrial fibrillation. Within weeks, he began experiencing lightheadedness in the morning. Then one day, he collapsed trying to get out of bed. Diagnosis: mild ischemic stroke. Lab tests showed blood sugar fluctuations and clotting activity likely intensified by the fruit medication interaction. What to do instead? Treat mango like candy, a few bites, not a full cup. Never eat it alone, especially not dried mango. Always pair with protein or healthy fat. Eat mango during the day, not in the evening when circulation slows. If you're on any medication, ask your doctor before making it a daily habit. What you eat in your 30s and 40s may not be safe in your 60s and 70s. And that brings us to fruit number 6, one of the most common health foods that could be tipping your potassium levels into stroke territory. There are 6. Bananas. Too much of a good thing. For decades we've heard it. Bananas are the perfect snack. They're soft, easy to digest, full of potassium, and even labeled heart healthy. But if you're over 60, and especially if you're taking blood pressure or heart medications, that banana might be quietly working against you. Here's why potassium is essential. It helps regulate heart rhythm, nerve function, and muscle control. But in older adults, especially those on diuretics, ACE inhibitors, or beta blockers, potassium doesn't move through the body the way it used to. As we age, our kidneys become less efficient, and when too much potassium builds up in the blood from multiple servings of fruit supplements or that daily banana smoothie, it can trigger irregular heartbeat, tightened arteries, and worst of all, blood clots. Let me tell you about Mr. Raymond, and 66 retired carpenter, healthy as ever. Every morning he'd slice a banana over his oatmeal and take his blood pressure pills with orange juice. One morning, his wife found him collapsed in the bathroom. He couldn't move his left arm. A scan confirmed its stroke. His potassium levels dangerously high. No one ever told him that 2 bananas a day combined with his medication could tip his body into dangerous territory overnight. How to protect yourself. If you love bananas, eat just half a banana and always in the morning. Never eat bananas before bed when circulation slows. Avoid banana-based smoothies or banana bread, especially if you're on medications. Always pair with protein like yogurt or nuts to slow potassium absorption. Your body isn't broken, it's just different now. And the way it handles even healthy foods has changed. The next fruit. It's one of America's favorites, but the combination of sugar, pesticides, and acidity could be stealing oxygen from your brain. Number 5. Strawberries. A beautiful but toxic. They're bright red heart-shaped and loaded with antioxidants. Strawberries are often called a superfruit, and in many ways they are. But here's the hidden truth. Strawberries also top the dirty dozen list, meaning they carry some of the heaviest pesticide loads in the grocery store. And for aging bodies with slower detox systems, that's not just a concern, it's a potential disaster. You see, pesticides don't just rinse off with water. Many of them are neurotoxins, chemicals designed to disrupt insect brains. That can also interfere with human neurons, especially in older adults. And unlike when we were young, our bodies can no longer flush these toxins out efficiently. Instead, they build up over time in our liver, in our tissues, and even in our brain. Let me introduce you to Martha, 79, a retired librarian from Vermont. She ate strawberries every day frozen fresh, sometimes in smoothies. But she didn't know they were non-organic. Over the years, she developed joint pain, morning dizziness, and eventually, numbness in her right hand. A CT scan confirmed a minor ischemic stroke. Blood work revealed oxidative stress, elevated uric acid, and chronic low-grade inflammation. Doctors ruled out cholesterol. They ruled out blood pressure. But when we looked deeper, the real suspect chemical exposure from something she believed was healthy. How to protect yourself. If you love strawberries, choose organic only, especially for daily use. Wash thoroughly, but understand washing doesn't remove systemic pesticides. Avoid strawberry-flavored yogurts or jams with added sugars and artificial colors. Don't eat strawberries on an empty stomach, as the acidity can also affect circulation. Strawberries can be just part of a healthy life, but only if they're clean and properly timed. And speaking of timing, the next fruit on this list might be the most surprising yet, because it's one you probably reach for on hot days thinking it's hydrating, but in truth, it may be depleting your body and setting you up for a stroke. Number 4, watermelon, the dehydration trap, hot day, tired body. You cut a thick slice of watermelon, take a bite, and feel that rush of cool, juicy relief. It feels healthy. It feels hydrating. But for older adults, especially those on heart or blood pressure medications, watermelon may be quietly working against you. Here's why: watermelon isn't just water and sugar. It's also a natural diuretic, meaning it can pull fluids out of your system, just like certain medications do. If you're already taking diuretics, also called water pills for high blood pressure or heart failure, watermelon can double the effect, without warning. And what happens when the body loses too much fluid? Blood thickens, blood pressure drops, circulation slows. And that's the exact combination that increases stroke risk overnight when you're lying still slightly dehydrated and your brain is at its most vulnerable. Let me tell you about Howard, 82, retired postal worker from Indiana. He walked daily. He avoided processed sugar, but after dinner, he'd reward himself with 2 or 3 large slices of cold watermelon. What he didn't realize was that his diuretic medication was already lowering his fluid volume. The watermelon. It pushed him further into mild dehydration. He began waking up dizzy. One morning, he collapsed. The ER confirmed it. Low blood pressure, thickened blood, and a mild stroke. He was trying to do the right thing, but he didn't know the full picture. How to stay safe. Enjoy watermelon earlier in the day, not at night. Eat it with a pinch of sea salt or a sip of coconut water to help maintain electrolyte balance. If you're on diuretics, ask your doctor before making watermelon a daily habit. Avoid eating it alone. Always pair it with a little protein or fat to reduce the sugar spike. Sometimes it's not just what you eat, it's how and what your body is going through behind the scenes. Now the next fruit on our list seems innocent. In fact, it's been labeled the fiber champion. But when mixed with common medications, it becomes a chemical cocktail with dangerous consequences. The 3, oranges. The citrus risk. No one warns you about: bright, juicy, full of vitamin C. Oranges are one of the most popular healthy fruits in the world. And for younger people, they're often a good choice. But if you're over 60, especially if you take medications for blood pressure, cholesterol, or heart conditions, that morning glass of orange juice might be creating a perfect chemical storm inside your body. Here's what most seniors don't know. Citrus fruits, especially oranges and grapefruit, contain a natural compound called furanocoumarin. This compound interferes with how your liver breaks down medications. In short, it blocks the liver's detox system, meaning your medications build up in your bloodstream, becoming far more powerful than intended. That's where things go wrong. What was supposed to help your heart now puts you at risk for low blood pressure, muscle inflammation, weakened blood vessels, and ultimately, stroke. Let me tell you about Elmer, 78, from South Carolina. He was diligent, took his statins, blood pressure meds, and walked every day. He also drank a tall glass of fresh squeezed orange juice every morning. But no one told him about furanocoumarin, One morning, after days of lightheadedness, he collapsed. Stroke. The ER team found medication overload despite his doses being normal. The culprit. That daily orange juice was blocking his liver, preventing his body from clearing the drugs efficiently. What to do instead? Skip large servings of oranges or orange juice, especially if you're on prescription meds. If you love citrus, choose low furanocoumarin alternatives like clementines, or use just a splash of lemon or lime in water. Never combine citrus juice with statins, blood thinners, or calcium channel blockers without asking your doctor. Oranges aren't evil, but the interaction can be. And now we're heading into the final two fruits, and trust me, these last ones may be the most surprising of all. The next fruit. It's likely sitting on your kitchen counter right now, and its sugar profile may be putting extra strain on your aging brain every single day. 2. Apple's sweetness with a hidden cost. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. That's the promise we grew up with, and for years it held true. But today's apples aren't your grandmother's apples. Modern varieties like Honeycrisp, Fuji, and Gala are bred to be sweeter, larger, and shinier, not necessarily healthier. And if you're over 60, those daily sugar surges may be slowly taking a toll on your vascular system and brain function. Here's what happens. These ultra-sweet apples spike your blood sugar, especially when eaten alone like a midday snack. And if you're insulin resistant, which many older adults are without knowing, this can lead to fluctuating blood pressure, inflammation in delicate brain arteries, increased clotting risk. Over time, those invisible changes add up, until one day, they're no longer invisible. Let me tell you about Louise, 81, from Pennsylvania. She ate a large Honeycrisp apple every afternoon. No candy, no chips, just fruit. But she began to notice her vision blurring slightly in the evenings. Then one night, she slurred her words. CT scan confirmed a mild ischemic stroke. Her blood sugar wasn't diabetic, but it swung dramatically every day, putting pressure on her blood vessels. Apples didn't betray her. It was the timing, the variety, and the lack of balance. How to make apples safe again. Choose tart varieties like Granny Smith. They're lower in sugar and higher in fiber. Always pair apples with protein or fat, like almond butter or cheese, to slow sugar absorption. Avoid eating apples alone, especially in the afternoon or evening when insulin sensitivity drops. Slice your apple and eat just half at a time instead of a whole fruit. The goal isn't fear, it's awareness, because even nature's healthiest gifts can backfire without the full picture. And now we've reached moment 1, the fruit that carries the most dangerous mix of medication interaction, blood-thinning compounds, and unpredictable vascular effects. This one might shock you. Moment 1. Cherries. The silent blood. Thinner. They're rich red and feel like the ultimate healthy indulgence. Cherries are often praised for their antioxidants, their anti-inflammatory properties, and their ability to support heart health. But here's what most seniors and even many doctors don't realize. Cherries contain a natural compound called salicylate, which acts like a blood thinner similar to aspirin. Now, if you're not on blood thinners, a small amount might actually be helpful. But if you're over 60 and already taking medications like warfarin, Plavix, Eliquis, aspirin, then cherries could be quietly tipping your body over the edge. Too much blood thinning doesn't mean better circulation. It means leaky blood vessels, unstable clotting, and in the worst case scenario, a brain bleed. Let me tell you about Marvin, the 74, former piano teacher, on a low dose of warfarin after a minor heart procedure. He loved cherries, ate them every night after dinner. One morning, he didn't wake up as usual. His wife found him slumped breathing, but unresponsive. The diagnosis, a hemorrhagic stroke, a vessel in his brain had ruptured. The doctors checked everything, his medications were properly dosed, nothing unusual in his blood tests. But when they asked about diet, the answer became clear. Cherries every night on top of a blood thinner. That small, sweet snack had quietly pushed his blood into dangerous territory. How to protect yourself. If you're taking blood thinners, limit cherries to no more than a few and only during the day. Never eat large amounts of cherries close to bedtime. Talk to your doctor about salicylate interactions, especially if you're already using daily aspirin. Avoid cherry juice, cherry, concentrate, and even natural cherry supplements unless cleared by a physician. The saddest part, Marvin had no idea, because no one told him that a fruit known for healing could in his case become the trigger. If this speaks to your story, tell us in the comments below. Seniors around the world are listening, and now we're ready to pull the curtain back even further. After hearing about all these risks, the sugar, the interactions, the silent dangers, you might feel like fruit itself has turned against you. You might even be wondering, should I stop eating fruit altogether? And here's the twist. No, absolutely not. Because despite the risks we've revealed, not all fruits are dangerous. In fact, some fruits may be the very key to healing your brain, protecting your heart, and extending your independence. The real danger isn't fruit. The danger is misunderstanding fruit. Most people think fruit is all the same, but for seniors, fruit becomes like medicine, and medicine must be used wisely in the right dose, at the right time, and with the right combination. So, here's what your doctor may not have told you. Dark berries, like blueberries, blackberries, and raspberries, are low in sugar, high in polyphenols, and help reduce brain inflammation. They don't spike your blood sugar. They don't interfere with medications. They actually shield your arteries, improve memory, and support healthy blood flow to the brain. Fruits like avocados, olives, and unsweetened coconut are technically fruits, and they're packed with healthy fats that stabilize your metabolism and fight inflammation. Even apples and oranges can be part of a healing diet when eaten correctly, with protein early in the day and in small portions. Here's the part no one says out loud. Your body still wants to heal. Your brain is listening every day with every bite. But healing doesn't come from doing what worked at 30. It comes from understanding what your body needs now in this stage of life. Your kidneys filter more slowly. Your liver processes medications differently. Your blood vessels are thinner, more sensitive. And your brain, the most delicate organ of all, can be protected or damaged by what you eat before you even notice a symptom. So the real question is, are you choosing fruit for your body at 60 plus, or are you still eating like you're 30? The twist is simple. Fruits are not the enemy, but the wrong fruits and the wrong combinations at the wrong time of day can be deadly. And the right fruits used with purpose can be one of your greatest allies in preventing stroke, improving memory, and aging well. So don't fear your fruit bowl. Master it. If you've made it this far, you've already done something powerful. You've listened not just with your ears, but with your intuition. You knew something didn't feel right. Maybe it was the dizziness, the slurred words, the fatigue that wouldn't go away. And now you understand it wasn't just age. It wasn't just part of getting older. It was your body trying to tell you something. The good news. Your body still wants to heal. Your brain still wants to thrive. You are not broken. You are rebuilding. It starts with knowledge, with timing, with asking new questions like, is this fruit helping me or silently hurting me? So here's what you can do today. Choose fruits that love your body back low in sugar, high in polyphenols, gentle on your medications. Eat early with protein and with wisdom. And most importantly, never stop learning, because the moment you stop believing you can heal is the moment healing stops. If you believe healing has no age limit, subscribe. If you believe your brain deserves another chance, share this with someone you love. Leave a comment below with just one thing you'll change this week, because your words might save someone else's life. And always remember, your brain is listening. Feed it the future you deserve.